The whole tree's on fire. What is happening? What is happening? So, what was happening? Well, that's a good question. Let's go back to the beginning.
And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his demons with him. Prophecy foretells of an end of days, where nightmares will wage carnage and terror upon the world, attempting to forever extinguish life itself. A thunderous war will take place, and many will die. The heart of the world and all those souls that call it home are at stake, and the winner will take all. The Dark Lord cares nothing for those he corrupts, harvesting their eternal souls to do his bidding. He asks everything, and in return, offers emptiness. If you submit and take him as your master, he will enslave you and systematically stamp out every last shred of warmth inside of you. He will bring you to your knees in final breath of life and keep you there forever. With the Dark Lord as master, all will walk the earth as empty corpses, writhing in silent, searing pain as they lead an empty and meaningless existence in eternal servitude to his dark empire. With no one to care for them, but 10,000 demons for each and every person, dark leeches of evil living under their skin, inside their minds, and corrupting their hearts day and night, they will rot forever in endless agony. Though the Dark Lord's hordes cast long shadows that will enshroud you, and his insidious and creeping evil will blacken everything about you, he will fall in the face of the immense power bursting from within, the hero of the ages. The time of the apocalypse has come. The world needs a great and legendary champion of light to stand up and fight and destroy the darkest nightmares in the history of creation. The courage, strength, perseverance, focus, and friendship that will be needed to conquer an unimaginable foe has yet been shown, and many great heroes have already fallen in the face of evil's burgeoning malady. In a magical world filled with riches and wonders, a young kingdom has managed to keep evil at bay outside its formidable gates. But its power is waning. With its heroes cut thin, darkness gathers its strength, and the mind and soul of the king of the kingdom teeters on the edge of sickness and death. Here, the heart of the war will be waged between the hero of the ages and Satan himself. For the Dark Lord knows that whoever claims final victory in this kingdom will surely claim for themselves all the world. Hey, wake up. Wake up. You need to run. Don't let them catch you.
And that's all I know. I woke up here and I heard a voice telling me to run, and there was werewolves, and now they're behind me, and I just have to keep going. And still the voice was guiding me. Who was this?
They're gaining on you.
Dude, I know, I'm trying, dude. And I really was. I didn't want to be eaten. And then he said,
You can't outrun them. You're going to have to hide. I know a place ahead. Keep going.
Keep going, he said, like I had any intention of slowing down.
Up ahead. Take the broken path on the right.
Okay, I'm going. Somehow my legs kept propelling me forward. I could feel the breath on the back of my neck. It was hot and wet as their claws ripped through the dirt behind me. And then some good news.
Quickly, get inside. Shut the doors behind you. Shh. Don't make a sound. They'll hear you. Stay hidden right where you are.
And I did. I held my breath for what seemed an eternity, ignoring my screaming lungs. The monsters had injured me on the way through the door, and I could feel the blood running cold against my back as my torn shirt exposed me to the wind. What were they? Who was talking to me? And then...
They're gone. I've sent for help. Seek out the light ahead. It will guide you.
Seek out the light ahead? What did it mean? I saw a lantern at the top of the stairs and slowly made my way up, still in mind-numbing pain, and then I saw it. Was that a unicorn? I couldn't jump down, the wall was too high, so I carefully made my way back the way I came, looking for another way out. The thunder roared as I climbed over a low wall and into the garden. Pushing my way through the tall grass and branches, trying to make my way to something friendly, familiar, something that just wasn't chasing me. Follow the unicorn, he says. And I did. I mean, what else was I gonna do? I followed the unicorn for a while. I felt safe in its company. I mean, unicorns are good animals, right? And this one wasn't trying to kill me, so I didn't have much choice. Eventually, the unicorn stopped in a clearing and bowed its head to me, giving me permission to ride on its back, and I did. My legs were heavy as lead, and I'd lost so much blood. I hung on for dear life and just prayed that it was taking me somewhere safe. And I passed out. When I came to, I was still with the unicorn slumped forward, and then, through my hazy vision, I saw a house.
Find a way inside.
Find a way inside? I tried the front door and found a sign telling me to head around back, and just then I realized it was finally quiet. I looked up and saw that the sky was so clear and bright. The moon was full. Where was I? I felt as though I had fallen with Alice straight into Wonderland, or walked through the wardrobe into Narnia. Everything was so dreamlike. I could hear the monsters in the house, and I couldn't help feeling that inside wasn't the safest place to be. But I had to trust the voice, right? I mean, it had helped me escape from the monsters. I walked around the outside following the signs until I found a sign telling me to dig. Heading down the stairs, I found a long corridor painted red, dimly lit. And then the voice told me,
Get some rest.
I found a chest full of items which I eagerly took and then collapsed onto the bed. I slept for what seemed like days. When I awoke, at first I couldn't remember where I was, but slowly the memories of the previous night started to return. I decided I needed to prepare for what I didn't know, but it was better than sitting around feeling sorry for myself. So, I headed back out up the staircase and found an area with some trees. Tools was the first thing on my list. I wanted to be prepared if the werewolves ever decided to come back for me. Then I heard the voice again.
You're gonna need to armor up for what's ahead. I was able to send you a copy of my old house, but there was some interference.
What did they mean? Interference? Is that why the house sounds as though it's full of creatures? I didn't understand any of what was happening, but I could control what I could do, and what I was going to do was make sure I was ready for anything. I knew I wanted to make some armor and tools from iron if I could, so the first thing I needed was a way to smelt. I crafted hardened dirt, and from there I made an oven. I had been a scout as a child and vaguely remembered enough to get a decent kiln made. Then I headed back down underground to begin mining for iron, the sounds of the creatures ringing in my ears from just the other side of the wall. I began digging into the wall, hoping to find enough iron for what I needed. The rain had penetrated down so deep into the ground, and every few meters I would be almost waist deep in water. And all the time my mind was racing, constantly wondering where I was, what was ahead of me, how I had ended up here, who was talking to me, and why I couldn't remember who I was. I had almost gathered enough resources now to feel safer, and I hadn't heard the voice for a long time, and I was almost missing it. I was alone here, and it had been almost comforting to know that someone else knew where I was and seemed to have knowledge and ideas on what was going on and what I had to do to get home. And finally, I had my armor made, my shield in hand and my sword at my side. The voice had told me to go through this door when I was ready, and I guess I was. I couldn't help thinking about my family, my life, my friends as I stood there looking at this door that had seemed so innocent but now seemed like the gateway to hell itself. And then, with a deep breath, I walked towards it. On the other side was a ladder headed straight up. "Take back the house," the voice had said, but why me? I was no warrior, no soldier, but if I wanted to get home, I didn't have much choice. At the top of the stairs there were creatures I had never seen before. They looked almost human, but they had cold, dead eyes, and the smell of death lingered upon them. They swarmed me in numbers, and I had to kill them quickly. My heart was pounding in my chest as hordes of them approached, but my sword stayed strong. It was sharp, and I was able to kill them effectively. So began the bloody battle to take back the house. Finally, bloodied and bruised, I was done, but at the top of the house there was a cage. I could hear a noise from within. It didn't sound like anything I had encountered yet. I had to break in. In order to take back the house, I had to kill whatever was in here. And if the creatures had had it caged up, imagine how bad it is. And so the beast was dead. I had done it. I had reclaimed the house and overcome my fears. And I waited to see what the voice would have me do next.
Congratulations on your victory. Take some time to get your estate in order and develop your farm. When you're abundant in your new superfood, take the road into town and bring some with you. The people there will help you grow your power for the trials ahead.
So, with my new task at hand, I spent the next few days collecting food and resources ready to make my journey into the town. The first thing I wanted to do was create a farm. And for finally defeating the monster in the cage, I had received a recipe for a superfood and a map to a castle. Now, I just want to break character for a second and interject here because I ate this mushroom and it fucked me up. I was upside down for about 10 minutes. All my controls were backwards. I couldn't kill this chicken. I was trying to kill this chicken for about 6 minutes. I couldn't kill this chicken. Okay, rant over. Back to the cinematic stuff. And finally, with all the ingredients needed to craft the superfood, I made as many as I could. I packed my bag with everything I might need and said goodbye to the place I had called home for the last 9 days. Glancing down at the map, I oriented myself in the direction of the castle and just started to walk.